Today we are looking over a Diamond 1 Skies match on Split, but before I tell you what can be improved in each clip, I'm gonna play with none of my own input and I want you to try to see what can be critiqued.
Blinded. Healing you. Spike down B.
On pistol rounds, Skye did a good job of not over-peeking B main, as she's very important to her team. She's the only player who's on site and can actively contest the push. An early death there gives the enemy a much easier time taking site. She also did a good job repositioning next to the smoke, but I see one issue that many players have here. Don't crouch with the ghost. It has good enough accuracy while moving that even if you counter-strafe incorrectly, it won't be of much harm. Also, since it's a semi-automatic weapon, there's no benefit to your spray accuracy like there is with an automatic weapon.
Spike down mid. Last player standing.
When Jett and Skye were separated on the A and B sites, Skye should have sat on site and waited for the enemy to come to her. She most likely would have gotten 1 or 2 free kills. Playing aggressively when the enemy are pushing your site in a situation like this makes them rethink their decision and possibly not commit to your site, leaving you in a tough situation. You want them to come to you so that you can catch one planting and hopefully 1 or 2 more, leaving your rotating Jett in a 1v1 where she knows the enemy's location and the enemy doesn't know hers. What happened was Skye played aggressively and got flanked due to her rough location being known, leaving Jett in a 1v2 with no information. After Skye fought up front and killed the Raze, what should she have done? Is it A, she played it correctly, go and sit hell? B, go back CT and listen for the drop to site while watching the potential walk through CT spawn to A? C, go back pillar or back site and wait? Or D, aggro up the ropes and fight right after killing the Raze? Well, there's no right answer here, but I'll tell you which it isn't, and it's A. Going hell is giving them a free kill. She barely changed her position. Skye was last seen at the pillar, and hell is pretty damn close to that, as well as being a common place to check. Since the enemy have that info, it would have been best for Skye to go somewhere that makes that information pointless, like CT, backsite, or B main.
Last player standing.
After the slight overpeak by Skye, which killed the Cypher, she made a very predictable play. Getting a kill from screens and running elbow is like grabbing something off a shelf and buying it at the register. Predictable. When the Cypher dies from screens, he calls it out, and the first place every attacker in a 12-mile radius looks is elbow. I'll bet my spare Windows activation key that both the Raze and Sage simultaneously said Skye might walk out elbow, no one's watching it. If Skye's mind was made up about going elbow, she should have waited 5 to 10 seconds, because after that, the Raze has most likely peeked elbow 1 to 2 times, and Skye might get some lucky timing. Another huge issue with how Skye went about it is that she ran. Running in such a thin area is asking to get headshot by anyone with mediocre crosshair placement. Had the Raze not peeked elbow and Skye successfully saw a site, she would have been met with the first of 25 bullets between the eyes. Elbow is thin, the elevation is level, and the audio is very distinguishable that it's elbow. It's almost impossible to peek from elbow like that while running and walk away with all your limbs.
One enemy remaining.
Welcome to my world.
After getting the kill on the Sage, Skye should have repositioned. Always try to reposition after a kill if possible. Why? Well, the one piece of information they have about you is your location. If you reposition, you void that piece of knowledge and deny a possible trade. This is especially important when on low health, as Skye was. Having low health and staying in the same spot is asking to get traded. Obviously, Skye didn't know where Viper was, but the fact that no immediate presence was shown after the kill on Sage should have been enough to tell Skye that she was in the clear to retreat to CT and go screens to A site, or maybe rotate to mid or B.
down B.
Here. Three. Spike planted.
Last player standing.
I have two main issues with Sky's performance on the second half pistol round. One, she didn't use her flash. Why buy it on pistol round over a very useful heal if you're not going to use it? In my opinion, heal should be bought anyway on pistol round, but since she bought a flash, she should have used it. It could have prevented Sage's death and likely given a free kill onto the enemy Reyna. Issue number 2 being that Sky didn't counter-strafe at all while shooting the Viper with her Ghost. She just stood perfectly still. The Ghost is pretty forgiving when moving, so even if you're not the best at counter-strafing, give it a shot as it's a lot harder to kill a sidestepping opponent than a still one.
$50 on Reyna.
Here.
One enemy
No more
remaining.
Viper.
Double rotation. Good job, guys.
Very good round aim-wise, but something Sky could have done is walk through ropes around to CT or go back to market to B main to prevent a possible trade to ensure a higher chance of winning the round. The outstanding aim shown brought a holy with multiple O's, so there's clearly nothing negative to say about that. If Sky hadn't gone
Good job,
Super
guys.
Saiyan, the round could have ended very differently as it would have turned into a 2v2 where her team only had pistols and a freshly planted spike.
Cypher is inside, I think.
Spike carriers down.
Last player standing. Spike down
I'm trolling, my
A.
bad.
Going on to A site from ropes, Sky should have stayed with her team. She is a very useful agent on site as she could have healed and flashed for her teammates as well as being another body on site. Her being in heaven doesn't help her team that much as her team hasn't even gotten the spike down and doesn't have control of vital parts of that section of the map.
My bad. Have to play quickly.
Here.
I'm on side, guys.
You will not kill my allies. Taken out.
One enemy
No
remaining.
more Viper. Here. Hawk out. I think that's it.
Nice, good job. I'm on side, guys.
I see the same issue here as on round 16. Sky's team is advancing onto A with one man less than the enemy team, and yet Sky takes ramp and watches heaven. Her heal and flashes could have greatly assisted her team on site, but luckily 3 enemies came heaven and her great aim and solo utility usage carries
Nice,
around
good job.
and secures her a 3k and an extra round on the board. Sky's solo flashes and playstyle makes me suggest she try a duelist. She's clearly a solo player as we saw on rounds 16 and 18 when she took heaven solo, as well as her clear confidence in her aim and ability to win gunfights as seen on rounds 14 and 18.
Nice.
She
good
also
job.
likes to not go in with her team, which is baiting just a bit, but from what I've seen here, she should try a duelist,
side, guys.
possibly Yoru, as he's getting buffed soon and has flashes as well as a TP to get away from fights. Reyna is also a possibility as her kit rewards stellar aim, which our Sky clearly has. If you still need a device or haven't gotten out of plat just yet, check out this VOD review which will help you do just that.